What is up, wrestling fans? Richard Butcher here. Welcome back to episode number 9 of Pro Wrestling Slam for October the 20th, 2020 for ProWrestlingSlam.net, putting the pro back in pro wrestling. On today's episode, I'm going to take you down memory lane once again, and today I'm going to talk about the WWF Superstars ice cream bars. Now, most wrestling fans, at a certain age, remember these ice cream bars. Wrestling fans say around the 40 years old and older phase. So this was an awesome stroll down memory lane. So I'll give you a brief history of the ice cream bars, and I'll share my thoughts on what I thought of the ice cream bars shortly after that. So, all right. So as I said, episode number 9, WWF Superstars ice cream bars. The bars were first released in 1987 by the Gold Bond Ice Cream Company. The ice cream bars had a chocolate back and a crispy cookie front with vanilla ice cream sandwiched in the middle on a stick. The bars had all the popular WWF superstars of that era, including Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Andre the Giant, Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase, and many, many others, illustrated on the cookie side of the ice cream bar. The ice cream bar packaging was a bright red box, and each box came with an exclusive WWF Superstar trading card inside. So, I vividly remember these ice cream bars when I was a kid. Remember seeing the commercials for them and seeing them on WWF programming like WWF Superstars and whatnot. So, in 1989, the Gold Bond Ice Cream Company was absorbed by Good Humor Ice Cream, but the company still continued to produce the WWF Superstars ice cream bars into the new generation of the WWF. The ice cream bars featured then WWF Superstars Diesel. Most wrestling fans know as Kevin Nash, the 1-2-3 Kid, The Undertaker, and many, many others. The packaging was changed slightly to include paper cutouts of various WWF superstars, and on the front of the box was an illustration of the featured WWF Superstars card that was still included inside. The ice cream bars continued to be produced throughout the 1990s up to and including the WWF's Attitude Era, most wrestling fans' favorite era of the WWE. With the updated WWF scratch logo, a more modern look for the box packaging, and a more realistic cardboard cutout of various WWF superstars of the Attitude Era. So they'd have cardboard cutouts on the boxes of Triple H, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, so on and so forth. So the ice cream bars would continue to be produced throughout the early to mid 2000s during the rebranded WWE's Ruthless Aggression era, and featured then WWE superstars of that era, including John Cena, Eddie Guerrero, and many, many others. The ice cream bars were discontinued in 2008, sadly, but to this day, there's a huge demand for the box packaging of the three eras, the trading cards, and the cardboard cutouts from avid professional wrestling collectors. So, I've seen the boxes fetch as, high as like $50, $60. Depending on what era the boxes, box packaging came from. So the discontinued WWF Superstars ice cream bars were mentioned by CM Punk in 2011 during the Summer of Punk storyline between him and John Cena, when Punk mentions it to Vince McMahon in an in-ring promo. So that in-ring promo that CM Punk did, fans went ballistic. They went nuts after they heard that promo. And the WWE responded in kind with WWF Superstars ice cream bar merchandise ranging from jackets, t-shirts, hats, etc. The ice cream bars received more spotlight attention when it was featured in the hand of CM Punk in the promotional poster for WWE's Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2011. Earlier this year, the WWE and Good Humor Ice Cream brought back a variation of the classic WWF Superstars ice cream bar, but minus the stick. The ice cream bars have a vanilla dairy dessert center instead of the old school straight vanilla ice cream. And it had 2 vanilla wafers on each side in a square pattern. So basically, it was similar to a Klondike bar, but it had, vanilla wafers on each side of the bar. WWE Superstars are still featured on the front, but the picture is a little more faint than the original. The ice cream bars also featured classic WWE superstars such as Randy Macho Man Savage, Hulk Hogan, and etc. So, I'm going to take a short commercial break here, fans, so don't go away. We're going to hear from our friends over at Anchor.fm, so we'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, folks. So welcome back to episode 9. At the top of the episode, I just gave a brief explanation of the WWF Superstars ice cream bars. So they'll give you a brief history if you're not overly familiar with this product of the 1980s and 1990s and the 2000s. So as far as I know, the WWF Superstars ice cream bars were not available in my neck of the woods. I live on the east coast of Canada in the province of Nova Scotia. And like I said, I remember watching the commercials. I remember seeing the ads in WWF magazine, but as far as my recollection, I don't remember seeing the bars in my local grocery stores, which was unfortunate because I never had one. I heard that the bars back in the day were delicious, and as far back as I can remember, I mean, I've been a wrestling fan since probably 1983 or 1984, and I don't remember eating these bars when I was a kid. So that's unfortunate because, I literally give my right arm just to try at least one to see how they taste and, to see the look and the texture of them. So, and in my opinion, along with Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling, the WWF Superstars ice cream bars were a huge staple of the 1980s and during the WWF's golden era, the Rock and Wrestling era of the 1980s. And the bars were pretty memorable in the later eras of the WWE as well. So the New Generation, the Attitude Era, and the Ruthless Aggression Era. But they definitely, I think the bars definitely hit their peak during that era of the 1980s of the WWF. When you had Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, the biggest superstars of all time in the promotion. Were repping these bars as well. So, and when I was a kid, like I said at the top of the episode, I remember the ads in WWF magazine when I was a kid. Jimmy Hart, Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart holding these iconic, holding an ice cream bar in his hand, and seeing all the various superstars, on the wafers. Those ads really, really, really stand out to me. And even though it's not, even though it's not directly wrestling related, it's nothing that has to do with in-ring promos or like wrestlers themselves. I mean, they were a huge, huge staple, a huge part of pop culture in the WWF at that era. So, like I said, I would literally give my right arm to try one of the old school WWF Superstars ice cream bars. So maybe that'll happen someday, but maybe it won't. But, an awesome, awesome trip down memory lane for most wrestling fans. So, well, that's going to do it for episode number 9 of Pro Wrestling Slam, folks. I hope those of you who tune in and listen, I hope you had a great time strolling down memory lane with me with the WWF Superstars ice cream bars. And I hope it, brought back a flood of childhood memories from the WWF at that time. So check out the official website of Pro Wrestling Slam. That's prowrestlingslam.net. We always have the latest news in professional wrestling. We have a shit ton of interviews. Our latest interview, a print interview, is with former TNA Knockouts champion Taylor Wilde. We also have audio interviews with some of the biggest stars in professional wrestling: Jim Cornette, Conan, Scotty Riggs, Christopher Daniels, and many, many more. You can follow us on Twitter if you're, big on Twitter at PW_slam. That's capital PW_slam. You can check out our official Facebook page at facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Slam. We have close to 15,000 likes and follows, so it's a very, one of our popular social media forums. Be sure to tune in and subscribe to the Pro Wrestling Slam official YouTube channel. So just go to the search bar and type in Pro Wrestling Slam. It'll be one of the first things that comes up. And be sure to subscribe, like I said, because every single week, on every Tuesday, we'll have new episodes of the Pro Wrestling Slam podcast on YouTube. So if you're really like YouTube, then definitely check us out there. You can check out our official merchandise store at Pro Wrestling Tees. So that's prowrestlingtees.com/Pro Wrestling Slam. So if you're, if you like the show, if you like the podcast, if you like our website, to show your support, show your love, pick up an awesome Pro Wrestling Slam t-shirt. We have one of 3 designs, so you can check it out there at prowrestlingtees.com/Pro Wrestling Slam. We're also on Instagram. If you're a fan of Instagram, so that's instagram.com/Pro Wrestling Slam. And be sure to check out the Pro Wrestling Slam podcast on anchor.fm. So that's anchor.fm/Pro Wrestling Slam. And we just added a new podcast platform to our many platforms that you can listen to the show on Podbean. So that's prowrestlingslam.podbean.com. So that's prowrestlingslam.podbean.com. So leave some feedback on any one of the episodes, whether it's positive or negative. I always like to hear from wrestling fans. If there's something in past episodes that wasn't accurate, a factoid or whatever that you want to shoot your comment and correct me, by all means. I'm not an expert on professional wrestling, so like I said, whether it's positive feedback or negative feedback, and be sure to rate whatever podcast platform you use. Be sure to rate our episodes, so that would really mean a lot. So that's going to do it for episode 9. I hope everyone has an awesome rest of your Tuesday morning, and we'll be back next Tuesday with episode 10. So have an awesome day, guys. Take it easy.